Hey there, Internet. My name's Luxander, and today I just wanted to give a probably fairly brief transition update and also an update on how Minoxidil has been going for me. I'll put a link up here to the plural that I've already talked about Minoxidil, sort of explain what it is. It's essentially a topical hair growth stimulator that you can get a prescription for, or you can just get over the counter. It's basically off-brand Rogaine. And I guess since I'm already talking about it, I'll just start there with the Minoxidil. So I used it super consistently for about a month. And by the end of that month, the change that it was incurring was so fast that I had to stop doing it because it was just a lot kind of all at once for me, which I would like to tell you that if you are someone who really, really wants a beard, because using Minoxidil will be very effective. I would put it on my face and then let it dry, and there were a few times where I used lotion on my face afterwards and smeared the lotion on my mustache, which I was not putting the Minoxidil here because I don't want to have a mustache. I guess I was going for something more like a chin strap. I really didn't like that. I was not a fan of that. I was also not putting it here in the soul patch area, but it was still making some of those hairs start to grow as well. I'm not sure if this is just because I was using the lotion, or I have heard from other people that sometimes areas that are adjacent to where you've been using the Minoxidil will also start to have growth, or that other places on your body might also respond, which I have not experienced at all, to be clear. But I did have hairs responding in places where I was not deliberately putting the Minoxidil on my skin. So essentially, I just couldn't keep doing it. Like, it was just too much too fast. It was a big change. Like, I have a weird thing about my face looking like if my face were to change drastically, that would really, really mess me up. It's just not great. So slow changes over time are a lot more to my liking. So, despite the fact that I have stopped using Minoxidil, that has not necessarily stopped my hair growth from continuing. It was extremely stagnant before I started using Minoxidil, but I would say that now there are some more of those hairs that have continued to get darker and thicker and show up with more of them since I stopped using Minoxidil. So essentially, I am now at a point with my facial hair growth where I do have to shave, I have to, or it's scraggly. Like, there's just enough on my chin and on my sideburns for it to be needed, and it is going apace. It's something I'm more comfortable with. I may continue using Minoxidil on and off, but at this particular stage, it was just a lot for me to deal with, along with a lot of other stuff that has been going on in my personal life. It's very effective. If you want facial hair, use Minoxidil. You do not have to have a prescription to get it, but if you do get a prescription, then you can use a coupon like on GoodRx or something like that to get it for cheaper. So this is what I tell you. If you want, it may even work somewhat if you are pre-T. Depends, on how much like peach fuzz you already have on your lip there. So highly effective, highly recommended if you do want that facial hair to come in quicker, because it will. So I'm going to pull back, and this part of the video will probably be a little bit shorter because I don't feel like I have a whole lot to report about transition generally. If you have not seen any of my videos about transition before, or just don't remember, I was on like a high dose, like a normal dose of tea when I was on it for 2 years, a little bit over 2 years, and then I stopped for 2 years, and then I am now back on it for almost 1 year now. It's been 11 months, I think, since I started on a lower dose of tea. So right now, I am on the 200 milligram strength at 0.25 milliliters once per week subcutaneous injection. Whereas when I was on tea for the first 2 years, it was 200 milligram strength, 1 milliliter every 2 weeks intramuscular. Subcutaneous supposedly is a more even, like, you drop off less when you're getting towards the end. So for that reason, my doctor prefers it. It's like a more stable hormonal situation, basically. So you do it slightly more frequently. but I am on the starter dose. My doctor has people start on the dose that I am on, and then we'll increase it if they're prepared to go on what is considered normal dose. I suspect that I have elevated natural levels of testosterone due to undiagnosed PCOS, so my testosterone ranges on this low dose are within the cis male average. And my estrogen is also within the cis female average, which seems about right to me. Transition-wise, with all of that data in mind, it's been almost a year that I've been on low-dose T. My voice has not really changed as far as how deep it is. I talk differently sometimes. Like, I could access a voice that sounds more like a cis male's if I would talk differently, but I don't want to. Like, I hold my voice in the front of my mouth instead of back here. If I do a country accent, it'll go back. But that was also like halfway goofy voice. I don't know what that was. So my voice hasn't changed. My body hair, I guess, is going places. Like, my thighs are getting a little bit more hairy. And, here's a fun thing. I am fully getting ass hair now. Just so you know. It's like, you know, a lot of people have it in the crevice, but then it's starting to spread out onto the cheeks, and I'm like, why is this happening to me? If there's any trans guys or cis dudes, I guess, out there who can tell me how they manage their ass hair, because I don't want it. But I also don't want to have ingrown hairs all the time. Tell me what you do to manage your ass hair. Interestingly, my nose hairs are now long enough that I have to pluck them, or it's just constantly itchy. Like, there's just always some booger or cat hair or something, so now I have to pluck them, which is fun. Oh hey, side note, it is definitely worth mentioning that my happy trail is back. That is one thing that went completely away during the 2 years that I was not on T, and it's taken a while, but now it's back, and I love it. It's so cute. I have achieved amenorrhea, I think is what it's called. I don't ever have my cycles while I'm on testosterone, which is a lot of part of why I wanted to be on T, was to not have that Shark Week and to be more hormonally stable instead of when... Here's the thing. People have whinged at me about, like, oh, maybe you wouldn't have such mental health problems if you weren't going on and off hormones all the time. Like, listen. I experience far fewer hormonal fluctuations now than literally everyone who has a normal, like, period hormonal cycle does. Like, the amount of ups and downs of your estrogen and progesterone, if you're just letting your body naturally do that, is like it's actively bad for me. It is basically like where I have landed. Like, it's not healthy for me because I am just such a deeply emotional person. Like, I have borderline. So yeah, maybe don't talk about shit when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, I am very hormonally stable right now. Thank you for your concern. And yeah, I mean, everything else is probably more or less as you would expect. My sweat smells a lot more like what men's sweat smells like. It smells stronger, more pungent. I'm sweaty. I don't have terrible acne right now, which is cool, which I guess is just like my skin has stopped acting up quite as much. It's kind of nice. And, you know, my libido is doing what she do. Being really intense all the time. Not all the time. To be fair, when I have mental health struggles, it tends to reduce my libido somewhat. So at the moment, it's not crazy. But with regards to tea, it is. Like, you know, it's just what you do. You just deal with it. That's all I can really think to update about in regards to being on tea for almost a year again. So if you do have any additional questions, feel free to leave them in the comments. I would love to make sure to address any points that need to be addressed. So thank you so much for watching and for being interested in this journey with me. And like the video, comment below if you want to, subscribe, Patreon, ring the bell, and I hope you have an okay day. Bye. This is the last video for July, and also it was the last video recorded in my old apartment. Thank you so much to my patrons for being understanding of the moving and everything else that has kept me at a lower pace of productivity this couple months. Anyway, Thank you so much to Tina M., R. Halverson, Michelle Winter, Sarah A., Suzanne Maynard, Wellington Marcus, Amanda B., Athiet, Elizabeth Bartell, Eileen McCall, Frozen Summers, Rose Above It Showing Up, and Mr. Atheist.